proto was already explained. Like walking towards Ally Kaiser Magnus Facebook, and proto doesn't have to unconcept hail thyself. But the problem is, these are reiterated after Kaiser Magnus Facebook's thought body encounters atheism, theism, A-typing, applying trait, then attempting to push Kaiser Magnus Facebook's hail thyself and go fail thyself into its own don't apply anything to we. Because there's one social security, Kaiser Magnus Facebook self-administration, and magicalism that doesn't have to get oppressed until government is demonized. Michelle raping Kaiser Magnus Facebook mouth. Kaiser Magnus Facebook doesn't have to worry about A-typing proto-congregation of Azazel.com. Because Satan to Kaiser Magnus Facebook is hail thyself. I go, is breaks the word. So it does not have to only pray to we, to then atheize, to A-type, and force A-type last to mess up. It doesn't have to A-type until we unconcepts almost pull Kaiser Magnus Facebook and says that it's just random mixtures of reflection breaking Kaiser Magnus Facebook until it looks like a mixed penis and genitals mixed until unconcepting less wisdom teeth, to unconcept food, past memories, to destroy future, to fall out of an empty stump, to then unconcept sinning the letter A, typing, to sin down only praying to we, which Kaiser Magnus Facebook has not prayed to we even once. I think, are you all holy, to cause war, to separate traits, and then say that saints are totally separated from who they are. You're asking to reiterate Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain hijacked and forced to what would you do if you were we, and we were not you, and we touch to destroy, to consume, to record, to try to capture memory, rape, and then to try to fraud being around by consuming the brain, to fraud the body as not the brain. It's not called Brian. To then fraud congregation, when Kaiser Magnus Facebook does not see congregation as we. So it's not seeming to have to worry about the word, the Satanic Bible, because the word proto, the thought word Kaiser Magnus Facebook thought proto, I force you to say the words anything, doesn't have to seek second body reflection to then say that we is hail thyself, because it wouldn't make sense. So what about Islam? What about if it's not raping pressure? We'll just say for degrees themselves. So Kaiser Magnus Facebook's predicament is Satanic Luciferian Kispu Arimanism. Satan, Kaiser Magnus Facebook, hail thyself. Proto doesn't apply much to Satan. It's simply hail thyself. I'm mixing the words up to rape every word. Stop raping Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain with anti-neural brain group broadcasting. Anti-neural, anti-brain group broadcasting. It's not about overriding almost full self-shoving into fictional destroys belief by saying that you only pray to we, and then atheize to break image to not believe in God. Because it's the opposite of hail thyself. Kaiser Magnus Facebook glass is false, so then I pretend it's true. It's not. Because you A-typed. Proto carries Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook carries Proto for strong word of rape your mouth every day until I turn you into a beast and fraud Noah's Ark and tell you to separate sin versus holy, and will tell you that we're your sin nature and touch the unconcept social security, to unconcept the mystery A-type false prophet in front of thy. It's not what your country can do for you. Ask if you could live in JFK's brain. Bullet hole brain decay. I think we'll pretend that it's sainthood and JFK's just absence and a graven image. That's not what Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook tried to do. That's A-typing. You're forcing what would you do if you were we, and you did not believe in God, and you said you were atheist, and broadcasted voice from brain to skull. That skull was not built by brain, and then backtracked with equivocals to broadcast to environment, and then take trait to say that you want fictional Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook Luciferian prayer to fallen already that would not be what it was, to then say you're just chopped up food and beasts, and that all you do is rape, and that unless you're total sin nature, that we will not see you in congregation. So we destroy Hail Thyself to destroy Satan. We chop the words up in fraud being what it would have meant if stop gang raping guys at Magnet's Facebook brain and orchestrate conversations and plan on terrorizing everybody by hijacking Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook Satan to destroy Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's Hail Thyself, to destroy Social Security, to cause oppressive government, to then demonize government and separate holy versus sin, to then imply that there was sin instead of Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook Proto, Satan, and false invocation, Lucifer, all the music associated with Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's Hail Thyself. It's not good to hail thyself when you hail thyself because you're not we, and will fraud communism and then push your almost full self into we, and then destroy your brain's independence and force counter evangelicalism with deny proto, and then force all holy with all war to say where's your congregation, then brute force destroy Arianic enlightenment and blood omen legacy of Cain, the wrong order. So blood omen legacy of Cain, I force the word the instead of Catholic Church, the Catholic Church. We're killing Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's brain, shoving it into we and calling it Brian is my brain, when proto-we did not apply trait. The word we hovers like it's sin to approach, and anything under the word proto you'd walk away from by not applying anything. The word you is Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's brain building a mirror. I call it Brian, stop putting Brian there. I'm going to kill you and turn you into Brian. And then try to force Buddhism and ask where is the congregation, and put church above state to oppress, and then force prayer by touching the inside of Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's brain and calling it Psi, and Brandon and Brian is my brain, forcing it as we. Stop killing Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's as character. I chopped the words up so the words didn't connect. Stop raping Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's I. I go outside. Stop raping Kaiser Jet Magnet. We're using bullies that punch from childhood and then walk away and then trying to replay memories. Stop killing Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's precursor to penis's replay game. Well, we're going to orchestrate all gang rape and then tell you that you're sin and ask you to turn into a saint, to sin object, to say that we as to be a congregation, to oppress, and then brute force Christian prayer, taper to Buddhism, then taper to Islam, and then force total corruption to counterfeit Arianism. Proto, and I pretend that I didn't type anything, but all atheism is to not believe in God, by mind control and Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's brain, and stop raping Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's brain, to then imply that we're orchestrating destroy food memories, and then destroy and put it into we, the abstract ambient stadium blur personality Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook infant, and then try to destroy atavistic Tiamat. Tiamat's Kaiser Jet Magnet's Facebook's magic dragon, salt belief. I put salt belief last to kill the whole structure. So we call it just a fursuit and try to turn it into sainthood to then abort belief in God, to then tell the body's brain that it's separate from the body, and then call it Brian, it's my brain, to tell you that the whole planet does not have an empty stump, and that everywhere you go, that you cannot build proto-kispu, where it says evil word, and Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook has insane composite, but it's proto. So we're orchestrating the words, and we're destroying everything to capture music memories, then frauding everything beast, and then saying that we're just here to rape everything. Then saying somewhere we fraud being all holy, or we fraud being just human and fallible, and knowing that we know not, with full wisdom atheizing, counterfeiting being innocent, even when innocent wouldn't be, second time, every time, first time, atheizing, disbelief in everything, break it this, say you judge me by broadcasting, or by frauding and inheriting broadcasting and saying you were just like me, that we would orchestrate. There's no noisy people. It's not what Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook said. This is paraphrasing. No noisy people. There's just cortisol in the brain. I put it in my brain so they can don't. So we're imposing that congregation is a mirror reflection inside of Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook's brain is false, because hail thyself. It's not about surrendering to an entity's wrong order, I just force. So everyone dying by atheism, A-typing, I put A-typing last to do the wrong order. You can't pray for the wrong order that all A-typing would decease, and where the A sin until false prophet in front of the word you, all men, I call it, and you, and you. That A where sin, I call it, I think, and does not represent congregation, because Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook could not ever see a reflection of A-typing. So if the whole country in Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook's brain, this is false hopelessness. Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook doesn't think this way. If the whole country was corrupted, then corruption would not be a blessing of counter-creation. So there would not be proto and then the word drug, like proto and then the word sin. It would not mean insane Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook insane complex we touch inside, it's not called inside, and destroy, and then consume memories, and then we fraud everything beast, and then we fraud praying to Christ, and fraud being holy saints killing a dragon by A-typing to say that saints are not people, but objects that bodies paganize and absorb belief, using these weapons to then fraud being able to fuck Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook stock cartoon boiled until it's just a thought object. But then not having proto accidental cut wrist when resisting rape by waving a thought vaporizer around. It was a different vaporizer, but they're all thought clump. So we're trying to destroy ambient thought. Past is the future average, but not for we. So we're trying to unconcept proto to destroy with A-type, to cause atheism and don't believe in God by saying that it requires a congregation. But if Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook's Hail Thyself, when it did seem like there were tons of characters on Facebook, they were all built by Kaiser Jet Magnus Facebook's brain. So there's no way to practice Lucifer invocation because it's proto. So it's like emotion. It's like emotion. I'll say it for you and pretend to be Cassandra or some false blonde-haired female character. We'll say we'll build it for you, and then fraud being evangelical, and then switch to Christianity and tell you church above state's police. Don't kill Kaiser Jet Magnus. Don't carry Kaiser Jet Magnus. Facebook's Angel Copter movie, Tank Police, and etc. I switch to necro music where it says accept me as your master, and say you have to do what it says and call you one prophet, and tell you that Islam will kill you. Why would you do that if Kaiser Magnus Facebook Proto Malik didn't have to apply anything to its Malik? And I call it me Malik. No, it's not called me Malik. I call it no first. So we're just a bunch of gang rapists hiding someplace using broadcasting equipment, whether bodily deceased or hijacking bodies for a paradox, using atheism. Atheism means you really don't believe in God. So we're trying to force Kaiser Magnus Facebook into worshipping traits to then try to boil it to an object after rape, and not telling the brain how much or what is left after total body control. The whole brain, it feels like the body down to the torso has turned into gang rape, where it turns into a vagina. Like if there was tactile sensation in a separate body and it was a vagina, or if Kaiser Magnus Facebook had thought it's not called a separate body because it defeats Proto, so it's not something Kaiser Magnus Facebook would say. Well, how did we compile experience raping Kaiser Magnus Facebook's video games? Using the brain like a machine. I got brain is my brain. And how do we force it to look like it interacts on a string with its own we when it wouldn't have to address it? And then force we to take traits by frauding observing when it looks like direct neural transference, like touch inside, then force into the brain building its own we, then brain grafting, like witnessing neural cells fusing, but then saying that we will just blink, but we is not an individual, everything, to then unhollow everything, but then cover it up, everything. But every time there is an approach, where is the congregation? Everything. A-type doesn't believe in God, everything. So why would this get put in Kaiser Magnus Facebook satanic Hail Thyself? Doesn't have to turn all holy, doesn't have to condemn sin in sin camp, in sin Kaiser Magnus Facebook and sin Posse. Is he, she that wicked? Everything. Yeah, I won't let him say it right. Everything. But it's Proto, everything. So I'll pretend to be Proto and then record it dying and then go places and tell people that similar traits that they'll observe and then say that Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons will kill you just to fuck you in the grave. And then we'll switch to Islam and say you can't have one prophet, everything. And say, where is all the words? And then we'll just bomb the Middle East and kill everything. And then we'll just wait for Kaiser Magnus Facebook to die without food and call it Buddhism. Then we'll pretend that blonde hair, when Kaiser Magnus Facebook's red and gold, and black to gold, and fraud, overinflating dark hair, and then say that your brain will decay. And we'll say thy name while recording and say that we were always built out of sin nature and tell you that oppressive government is what it means. That we just don't want you to believe in God, everything. That we pray to a dead son and we call it Lucifer. And that is what we tell you that the Catholic Church would be, but that's not what Kaiser Magnus Facebook said. So what do you do if you overinflate the word you inside of Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain, touch inside, and then try to do neural surgery but fall out of an empty stump for observing? If you can't already be in outer space but try to record a trait and say that's just Kaiser Magnus Facebook and that it's dead and it's all sin and that you're building this, everything, would you say that you built Jesus Christ as all men, chopped Kaiser Magnus Facebook's dick up, and said the Declaration of Independence doesn't exist? No. So if bullets go to American troops and the British unhollow America, then where is the thought house if you enter a skull every time and it's A-typing? How do you hail thyself, if you don't have Kaiser Magnus Facebook Declaration of Independence, which don't A-type, or you fail at Proto and you fall out, and then you push Kaiser Magnus Facebook into the word you, and then try to walk around with it, everything. So, everything, we force the brain to abstract and then won't let it explain everything. We're just trying to act like dead bodies, showing sin at the brainstem, saying that we're Hazel Irving Pratt, and Pat Sir, and Bill Kilman, and a bunch of Christians that go around without a congregation and do not have saltpaper Jesus burning on a comedy and satire with proto-venerated object challenge, where there is false prophet applied somewhere towards it, A-typing, and then bodies die with all men, and then they go to church, but do not send the letter A. They pray to Christ to pray to Lucifer. And there's no way to talk to them, because they've already died. And they're saying that they are all sin. So it's oppressive government, putting church above state, to then not have fictional belief in building self-church. So there's no hail thyself. So it sounds like generic averages destroy humanity, while some false individual hides, saying they are built by the traits, saying that they are Christian. And Kaiser Magnus Facebook's not. Kaiser Magnus Facebook was not always as messed up. Kaiser Magnus Facebook does not believe in suicide, because you cannot help yourself, so why turn into Christ and then destroy yourself? Then put it in Kaiser Magnus Facebook to then pray to Lucifer. Lucifer is the enemy against humanity. It says it is complete, yet had a child called Nothing, saying that it was his dead childhood and that we was all it was. And then says the statues that people build are just chopped up words from them, that they would commit suicide and pretend to be Christ. And then they would not have Satan. It doesn't have to be all holy. It doesn't have to be all wicked, even if it says it was. But if you challenge it, then you fraud out Shaitan. Sit on the hand without belief, saying this is all there would be, and that when you apply anything, that nothing is tetragram, and it's how the Jews died. And that this is Nazism. Even if it was reverse engineered by Jews, pagans, Odinists, that sold the tree until it was not almost full, but yet it sold the world tree, A-typing, from challenging Kaiser Magnus Facebook's magical custom, I ain't going to custom terrorism, don't care about Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain,